For some people, it's all about the game and trading. For me personally, I love the game way more than I love the money. And the funny thing is once you love the game, once you understand the game, the money takes care of itself. I am living proof of that. We're going to watch this video together about why 95% find trading impossible and 5% find it obvious. Hopefully, we can learn something together, but I'm really excited to watch this with you.
95% of traders find trading impossible. They blow accounts, they quit, they call it rigged. They say the market is against them. They swear algorithms hunt their stops. They blame everything except the one thing actually destroying them.
And before getting further, I hear that constantly. Oh, the market makers are out to get me. Oh, this, oh, that. All the excuses in the world. And the best excuse I've heard yet is, Chris made me sell my SoFi shares. Shut up. Understand that the market goes up and it goes down. Stop making excuses.
Meanwhile, 5% find it obvious, almost boring, systematic, predictable even.
Sounds like Chris. How often do I say, if you think trading is exciting, you're doing it wrong. Trading is meant to be boring. It is meant to be as boring as walking into the bank and having to wait an hour while you have to fill out all the paperwork. That's as exciting as trading should be.
Same markets, same charts, same opportunities, same 24 hours in a day. So what's the difference? It's not intelligence. Some of the smartest people I know have blown multiple accounts, PhDs in mathematics.
I've blown up 2 accounts.
Engineers, doctors, brilliant minds destroyed by the markets. It's not capital. You can start with $100 or 100,000.
Hey, there's Zed right there. Everybody pay respects to Zed in the chat. Type Zed because we all appreciate you finding this video, my friend.
The failure rate stays the same. It's not access to information. We all have the same charts, the same news, the same data feeds. The difference is this. The 95% are fighting a war. The 5% are playing a game they've already won. Today, I'm going to show you exactly why trading feels impossible, why you're making it harder than it needs to be, and how the top 5% made it so obvious they're almost bored. By the end,
which is really interesting. I swear this guy must watch our videos. Because I say this constantly, right? Just have a plan, execute the plan, and then that's it. Then that's it, right? It's like you can drive from Dallas to Disney World. Can you make the drive from Dallas to Disney World exciting? Hell yeah, you can. You want to drive 120, crash into people, outrun the law, just so you can see Mickey Mouse? You can make this hella exciting. And you, mate, as long as you don't end up in jail, you'll still get to the most magical place on earth. But should you? Probably not. Probably should make it a really dull, boring, long drive.
End of this, you'll understand why you've been struggling. More importantly, you'll know the exact shifts that separate those who survive from those who thrive. Let's start with a story about 2 traders. David was a software engineer. Brilliant guy. Could code complex algorithms in his sleep. When he discovered trading, he approached it like every other problem he'd solved, with more analysis, more data, more optimization. He had 47 indicators on his charts. Not exact.
Wait a minute. I need a Chris Chains moment. Hang on. I need a Chris Chains moment here. I don't know where my Chris Chains hat is at. I wore it when I took my son to school this morning, and somehow he didn't die of embarrassment. Okay. Chris Chains moment. Chris Chains moment. Yeah, boy, if you millionaire like me, you got them chains. This is how millionaires dress. You understand? If you don't have 48 indicators, you ain't indicating nothing.
Exaggerating. 47. Moving averages, RSI, MACD, Fibonacci, Bollinger Bands, volume profiles, market depth, order flow, correlation matrices. His screen looked like a Christmas tree designed by someone having a breakdown. Every morning, David would spend 3 hours analyzing. He'd check economic calendars, read analyst reports, study institutional positioning, scan social media sentiment. He was drowning in information, convinced that more data would give him the edge. After 18 months, David had blown through 4 accounts totaling $65,000. Not because...
That's nothing. 4 accounts at 65,000. Come on, give me a break here. That's baby.
he didn't understand the markets, because he made trading impossibly complicated. Now meet Sarah. Sarah was a former casino dealer. No college degree, no financial background, just 10 years of watching people gamble and understanding one simple truth. The house wins because it has an edge, and it executes that edge consistently without emotion.
Ooh, hold on, go back.
wins because it has an edge, and it executes that edge consistently without emotion.
Now, here's the cool thing. We watched a video about the difference between trading and gambling, and it was specifically this, right? When you walk into a casino, they have the edge. You understand that they have the edge. And that's the thing. It's like, why go gamble? I don't gamble at all. If I gamble, it's $20 just for fun, right? The casino has the edge. When you are a trader, you build your own edge, right? Or you don't, or you're trust me, bro. Trust me, bro. This $75 is one stock, be a millionaire. Just take the Wall Street Protocol course. It's so much better than the last course I tried to sell you for $10,000. When you actually have a real edge in the market, you can look at this and you can say, oh, energy sector. Okay. I understand that with my plan, I have a 54% win rate and a 2.74% expectancy per trade. Cool. Got it. That is the difference in a professional investor, which I want you to be, versus the YouTube bros, the finance bros.
Sarah's trading system.
And you know what? That was pro tip. That was a pro tip. Thank you for that, Fate.
Had 3 rules. Just 3. Rule 1. Only trade during specific hours when her edge appears.
Let's expand that a little bit. Only trade during the market when your edge appears, right? So in a nutshell, Ovtlyr finds the greediest stock in the greediest sector when the market is the most greedy. In a nutshell, that's what we're doing here. Okay. And also lifestyle design, right? Lifestyle design, meaning I only trade 1 hour a day. That's it, period. Full stop. I don't trade any other time.
Rule 2. Risk exactly 1% per trade. No exceptions.
Okay. So that is a rule that you can follow. Now, I actually like the idea of trading 1%. 1% risk, not 1% position size. Meaning if you lose on a trade, the most you can lose is 1%, which sounds great. But that's kind of like a starting point, okay? If you have a system that you have proven works, you could start at 1, prove that it works, go to 2, prove that that works, go to 3, prove that that works, go to 4. And once you've proven that works, you could go to 5. You can very quickly blow out an account at 5% if you don't know what you're doing. And I don't want that to happen to you. So baby steps. 1% is a great spot.
Rule 3. Exit when price hits her predetermined level, whether it's a win or a loss.
No, this is a great video. This is everything Chris ever teaches, right? Executing the plan no matter what. Now, there's 4 types of trades: good trades, bad trades, winning trades, and losing trades. A good trade is one where you get out following your signal no matter what. If it's a winning trade or losing trade, it doesn't matter. A bad trade is one, regardless of outcome, where you didn't have a plan. Right there, they're talking about good trades.
That's it. No analysis paralysis, no indicator soup, no economic reports. Just 3 rules, executed with the discipline of a machine. After 18 months, Sarah's account was up 42%, not because she was smarter than David, because she made trading stupidly simple.
There you go. You don't have to make this complicated. And let's get really, really, really basic here, okay? Let's get really, really, really basic here. Your job is to buy stocks as they're crashing up. Once they stop crashing up, your job is to get out of the way. There is the stupidly simple system. But Chris, I thought you had to buy low and sell high. You don't know where low is, unfortunately. But you do know when it's trending higher. Will the trend last forever? No. Will it last long enough for you to make a ton of money? It totally can. What if it's a itty bitty baby tree and I don't make any money? That's part of the game. Sometimes you make a buck. Sometimes you lose a buck. Sometimes you make lots of bucks. But as long as you're on the right side of the trend, buying the stocks as they're crashing up, not as they're crashing down, you can make all the bucks.
This is the pattern. The 95% make it complicated. The 5% make it obvious. But why?
There you go. I just made it obvious for you.
Why do most traders instinctively choose complexity over simplicity? Why does trading feel so impossibly hard?
Okay. This reminds me. So I worked with a trading psychologist for 18 months, maybe 2 years. And one of the things that we talked about, man, I would drive to his office every Tuesday night. And, I'd spend an hour with my whiteboard. I would set the whiteboard in my lap, his whiteboard. And I'd be like, can I see your markers? And I'd just go, no, all over the whiteboard, right? And I'll never forget the night. It was always warm in there. I didn't like how warm it was. But I'll never forget the night where he's like, sounds like you're trying to control the market. I'm like, well, I'm not really trying to control the market, but like, if this does that, then I should make money. And he's like, sounds like you're trying to exert control on the market, which you can't do. You need to have personal agency to know what you can control. You can control where you get in. You can control with how much size you get in with, and you can control where you get out. Those are the only 3 things you have control over in your trade. But even though it's just those 3 things, that's everything. And that was really profound to me. That's what stuck to me more than anything. All the money that I spent with him, that was the one thing that I took away more than anything else. I am fully control of the trade, but I'm not control of the market. See the difference? Control the trade versus control the market.
Here's the brutal truth. Trading is hard because it violates everything you've learned about success in life.
I've said that too, right? You can't be a successful trader and be normal, right? You can't be world-class at anything and be normal at the same time.
In school, more studying equals better grades. In most careers, more hours equals more output. In trading, more analysis often equals worse results. More trades equals smaller accounts. More information equals more confusion. This breaks your brain because it contradicts your entire operating system. Let me show you the 5 reasons trading feels impossible and why you're probably making every single one of these mistakes right now. First, the uncertainty paradox. Every other job has structure. Show up at 9. Follow the procedures.
This is going to be a good one. This is going to be really, really, really good. Now, I don't know what he's going to say. The AI generated voice is going to say, but I'll tell you what I think he's going here is that with every other job in history, you get told input X, output is Y. The input is this, the output is that. In trading, the input is this. We have no idea what the output's going to be.
Complete the tasks. Get paid on Friday. Predictable. Comfortable. Safe. Trading has 0 structure. You can trade or not trade. Enter here or there. Hold for seconds or months. Risk a little or a lot. Every single decision is yours. Every outcome is uncertain. Your brain hates this. It craves certainty like oxygen.
Right. And this is hard. Well, the last time, I'd like to use this test example. I know. It's a broken record, but I don't care because it's the best. The last time I did this, I had a nice 30% win here. But this time, I had a break even. And then the next time it happens, oh, snap, 134% win. Wow. Right? Same thing happened at the entry. 3 completely different outcomes happened at the exit. That's it. Pretty crazy. But you have to embrace the uncertainty to be successful. And that is one of the uncertain things is what the outcome of any trade will be. Because listen, let's be real here, right? If you actually knew that every trade that you were going to pick would be a winner, wouldn't you only pick the winners? Of course. Of course. Who would go out and deliberately pick the losers? Nobody. Nobody would go out and deliberately pick the losers. You have to embrace the fact that you don't know what the outcome will be. Some will be amazing. Some will be, all right, cool. Some will be meh, break even. Some will be small losses, whatever. But you don't ever want to take a big loss.
So what does it do? It tries to create certainty where none exists. You add more indicators, convincing yourself that if you just find the right combination, you'll know what happens next. You study more patterns, believing that enough analysis will eliminate the unknown. You search for the holy grail, the perfect system that never loses. This is why trading feels impossible. You're trying to create certainty in an environment built on uncertainty. It's like trying to grab smoke. The harder you squeeze, the less you hold. The 5% who find it obvious, they've accepted something that sounds simple but feels impossible. You cannot predict what happens next.
This guy, you know what I think happened? I think this channel took our videos, took all the transcripts, loaded them into ChatGPT, and said, make me a video based on all the principles that Chris teaches on a daily basis. I mean, there's 25,000 views in 13 days on an itty bitty baby channel. Legit. This is what it takes to be a successful trader. And the funny thing about it is I talk about this twice a day, every day. And yet there are still people who don't know what they're doing and they screw up and they aren't listening because they think they know better, right? I get it. I also had mentors tell me, don't do this thing, but I needed to go F up my account to find out, oh, you know what? He was right. He definitely was right. I don't want you to have to do that. You can actually shortcut that. Stop doing the things that don't work. I give this away freely every single day. There was a question that I saved here. What are the top 2 things you want us to do to help Ovtlyr grow in 2026? Here's the deal. When I started this year, I had 13,000 subscribers on my one channel. Now, between our three channels, we're pushing close to 60,000 subscribers. That's amazing. You know, that's a 5x growth in 1 year. I'm super happy about that. I want next year to be 15 times where we started today. How do we do that? You watch these videos in their entirety. First off, that really helps with the YouTube algorithm, is watching it too. And that is the main key thing that you can do. Watch our videos in its entirety. I understand Chris talks too much. I get it, but it's because I'm trying to help you. Second thing you can do is share this with somebody who is failing in the market. They want to be successful. They want to be in the 5% of traders who are actually successful, but they keep falling into the 95% that aren't, right? Then tell them this random guy on the internet believes in what he's doing so much that he is putting $50,000 on the line to publicly trade in the US Investing Championship. And then say, no other YouTuber is doing that because no other YouTuber can do it. No other YouTuber in our space has the cojones to step up and actually put their money where their mouth is because they don't trade. The other YouTubers in our space, their goal is to sell you a course. We don't have a course to sell you. Our course, Ovtlyr University, is 100% free. It will always be 100% free because we believe in making you successful. And when you are successful, getting Ovtlyr for 82 cents a day becomes a no-brainer. So with all that being said, I am very excited to be part of the US Investing Championship next year. Tell everybody you know about what we're doing. That is the way that you can help us.
You don't need to. You only need to execute your edge over and over, knowing that sometimes you'll win and sometimes you'll lose, and that's not just okay, it's required. David couldn't accept this. He needed to know. Sarah embraced it. She didn't need to know. She just needed to execute. Second, the instant feedback loop. In most professions, feedback is delayed. You work on a project for months before seeing results. You invest years in education before earning a degree. The gap between action and outcome gives you emotional distance. In trading, feedback is instant and brutal. You click buy. 5 seconds later, you're losing money. Your heart rate spikes. Your palms sweat. The lizard part of your brain starts screaming that you're in danger. This instant feedback loop hijacks your decision-making. Every tick against you feels personal. Every small loss triggers survival instincts designed for actual physical threats, not financial fluctuations. You start making emotional decisions disguised as logical ones. I'll just move my stop a little wider. The analysis is still valid.
I'll just move my stop a little wider. Okay, I've told the story a million times, and if you watch any of our videos, you've heard me tell it before, but I actually worked with a the very first $1 billion hedge fund manager, Larry Height, and one of the original market wizards. And the receipts are on YouTube, okay? The 5 market wizards that I've worked with, the receipts are on YouTube. The two-time top 100 people in finance. You can just Google top 100 people in finance, Christopher Uhl. You'll find the documents, the top 100 magazine or whatever, where Chris got, right? Chris knows his caca, right? I didn't say that. Manny said it. Chris knows his caca. Okay? So, where was I going with that?
Logical ones. I'll just move my stop a little.
There, Larry Height. Speaking with Larry Height, he specifically told me exactly. The receipt is on YouTube. You can hear him tell me that exactly. You are never allowed to lower your stop. Your stop is at this price level. It's called $100, and it only goes up. It only goes up along with you. You are never allowed to move your stop down. And in fact, of the 3 hours we worked together, 2.5 hours of him was basically just yelling at me saying, learn to take a loss. And moving your stop is allowed, but only up. That's it.
Wider. The analysis is still valid. That's not logic. That's your brain trying to avoid the pain of being wrong right now. The 95% trade in this emotional state constantly. The 5% have trained themselves to view each trade as meaningless noise. 1 trade doesn't matter. 10 trades don't matter. What matters is executing the process correctly over hundreds of trades. They've created emotional.
And that is how you get to finding that expectancy, right? Over hundreds of trades, over the 7,000 trades that we backtested here, not one of them did you panic sell. Not one of them did you FOMO buy. Not one of them did you exit because you had a bad feeling. Exit because you were nervous about the Fed meeting coming out. Not one of them. All of them used predefined entry and exit signals and were followed exactly. So if you want to get to the expectancy that you've put together in your plan, you have to follow the plan exactly. Exactly.
Distance from instant feedback, not by being emotionless, but by understanding that short-term results are random and long-term results are everything.
Short-term results are random. What does this mean? Right. I have a slide I want to share with you on that. Here. Okay. So this is the plan ETF backtesting data. And this is what Mark Minervini's personal accounts looks like, right? Looks very similar, right? The idea here is to have lots of big winners, as many as you can, but we know that won't happen very often. Lots of small winners, lots of break-evens, and only small losers. Now, in this case, he had a medium-sized loser, and that's part of the game too, right? We can't avoid that. This is what Plan ETF looks like. Very, very similar setup here. On an individual trade basis, we don't know what will happen. But Chris, wait. Chris chains coming through. Hold on. Chris is going to pull lots of Chris chains today. Hold on. Got to put the chains on. I can't do the grill because I can't speak very well with the grill on. Okay. There we go. All right. But Chris, if you don't have a 100% win rate, you're not a real trader. You're not a real millionaire like me. You're really fake. You're not a real trader like me. But let's be realistic here. Nobody's ever going to get a 100% win rate. Never going to happen. You have to embrace the fact that you're going to lose. Okay? You have to embrace that. Chris Chains in the house.
Third, the complexity addiction. Here's something nobody tells you. Your brain is actively sabotaging your trading success by making you crave complexity. Why? Because complexity feels like progress. Learning a new indicator feels productive. Reading another trading book feels like you're getting better. Watching analysis videos feels like you're preparing, but none of that is trading. That's consumption disguised as preparation. The market rewards execution, not education. It rewards boring repetition, not exciting exploration. It rewards doing the same simple thing over and over, which your brain interprets as stagnation. So you keep adding. Another strategy, another indicator, another market to watch, another signal service to follow. Your trading gets...
You're right. Photoy. Now that's another pro tip. Pro tip.
It's more complex, not because it makes you more profitable, but because complexity satisfies your brain's need to feel like you're doing something. David fell into this trap completely. Every time he lost, he thought, I need more information. So he added another indicator, another data feed, another analysis tool. He was addicted to complexity.
There is a little bit to be said about this. You're going to lose lots of times. You can either ignore it because you have the data, right? You've got the data to support your plan. Or, and I just did this last week, confirm using whatever data source you need to add that this actually works. And in fact, I showed that in one of our Outlier University lessons, that I took the data that I had, I ran it against a theory I wanted to see, and I confirmed that this was a positive expectancy. So then I didn't have to do anything else, right? But you can use those opportunities when you do have a losing trade to say, okay, am I missing something here? That's how everybody evolves in their trading plan, is that they look at it, they objectively say, am I missing something here? Add in something else, not to immediately trade with, but to backtest it and say, okay, if I add in what's going on with the oil market, the oil itself, does that make a difference in my energy trades? And in my case, it did not. So I didn't make any changes, but I wanted to at least explore it since it was there. Okay. If it did make a difference, you better believe that I've been like, you know what, let me investigate this further, because if this is something I need to add in my trading plan, I need to add it right away. So, and you get motivated from losses to do that. It's just a fact.
And it destroyed him. Sarah did the opposite. Every time she thought about adding something, she asked, will this make my execution clearer? Or
there you go. And that's the thing, is that you need to confirm with data if this does help. If it doesn't, leave it off. If it does, you know what? That was a catalyst to help you in the rest of your life. Take one step back to take 100 steps forward.
Or more complicated. If it added complexity, she rejected it. Her edge was simple by design, not by accident. The 5% understand something the 95% never learn. Simplicity is not a weakness to overcome. It's a strength to embrace. Fourth, the outcome obsession. You check your account balance 14 times a day. You calculate how much you're up or down this week. You measure yourself by today's profit and loss. You feel like a genius when you're winning and a failure when you're losing.
That was me for a long time. I would go into like deep, dark depressions. I gained a lot of weight when I was a losing trader. And then when I was a winning trader, I was on top of the world, right? Super bipolar in that way. Versus we can't control the outcome. We have a process, we have a plan, you execute the plan. Some trades will win, some trades will lose. And you got to understand that if you don't build losing trades into your process, right? And here at the win rate, 56.94% means 43% of the time we're going to lose. If you don't build losses into your plan, you don't have a plan. You have an unrealistic dream.
This is outcome obsession, and it's killing you. Because here's the truth. You control nothing about outcomes. You don't control whether the market moves up or down. You don't control whether your perfectly valid setup works this time or doesn't. You don't control whether today, this week, or this month is profitable. You control exactly one thing, whether you followed your rules.
Hey, I think I said that earlier.
The 95% measure success by money made today. The 5% measure success by rules followed today.
I think I said that too.
This single shift changes everything. Imagine two traders. Both take the same trade. Both get stopped out for a loss. Trader 1 feels terrible. Another loss. Another day of being wrong. Another hit to his confidence. He's measuring himself by the outcome, which he couldn't control. Trader 2 feels fine, maybe even satisfied. He saw his setup, executed his plan, managed his risk properly, and accepted the result. He's measuring himself by the process, which he completely controlled. Same trade, same outcome. Completely different psychological impact.
So cool. That's so cool because it's exactly what we talk about. And listen, you control nothing. So therefore,
it's all there, black and white, clear as crystal. You get nothing. You lose. Good day, sir.
I love my stream deck. I love being able to do things like that.
David obsessed over every dollar. Red days destroyed his confidence. Green days inflated his ego. His emotional state was entirely dependent on outcomes he couldn't control. Sarah barely looked at her P&L during the trading day. She had a checklist. Did I follow my entry rules? Did I size properly? Did I exit where I planned? If the answer was yes, she marked the day as successful, regardless of profit or loss. Over time, this process focus created consistency, and consistency created profits. Fifth, the information overload. You're subscribed to 7 trading newsletters. You follow 20 trading accounts on Twitter. You watch analysis videos every morning. You check financial news constantly. You're consuming information all day, every day. And it's making you worse. Because here's what nobody tells you about information and trading. Past a certain point, more information doesn't improve decisions. It paralyzes them. Every piece of information is someone's opinion. Every analysis is one interpretation. Every news headline is one angle. When you consume all of it, you're not.
That's real. And that's interesting too, because maybe that's why there are channels that focus in on like one stock and they will make video after video after video after video because they are still amateurs in trading. And they're like, well, this guy at CNBC said this thing. Let me make a YouTube video about it. This guy, Tom Lee says, or what's his name? Tom Lee? Tom Nash? He always says somebody Lee. I don't even know. I don't even know because I don't care. The only trader that I follow is me. The trader you should follow is me too. I'm just saying.
You're not getting clarity. You're getting noise. Your brain tries to synthesize all these conflicting inputs. One analyst says buy, another says sell. Economic data is mixed. Sentiment is uncertain. You freeze. Analysis paralysis sets in. You miss the trade entirely or take it with no conviction, exiting at the first sign of trouble. The 5% practice what I call strategic ignorance. They deliberately limit information. They have their system. They know what they're looking for. Everything else is noise they actively ignore. Sarah didn't watch financial news, didn't read analyst reports, didn't check social media during trading hours. She had her 3 rules. When her set
Okay. I want to go back over this real quick. Listen to what Sarah does.
they actively ignore. Sarah didn't watch financial news, didn't read analyst reports, didn't check social media during trading hours.
Why? Tell me in the chat. Why did Sarah not read financial reports? Why did Sarah not watch news? Why did Sarah stay off of social media? You tell me. I mean, I'm just randomly. I don't know anything what I'm talking about. You tell me.
She had her 3 rules. When her setup appeared, she executed. When it didn't, she waited. Information couldn't confuse her because she didn't consume it.
Information can't confuse you when you don't consume it because it's not part of her plan. Yeah, that's exactly right. Just noise. Because only price allows the money to flow into your bank account. I can't say that. Cease and desist Chris will not happen today. It's not part of the plan. It's just noise. She's got a plan. Less confusion. Distraction is there to distract people, right? Hang on. I have a quote. I saved it on my phone from Alex Hormozy. Type a 1 in the chat if you know who Alex Hormozy is. Type a 2 if you've never heard of Alex Hormozy. But I wrote this down on my phone because I thought it was so good. And he says, distractions were made to distract broke people. That's so good. I'm going to write this down. Distractions were made to distract broke people. A really, really, really solid quote. Distractions were made to distract broke people. You gonna be a broke person? I hope not. I hope not.
David consumed everything. Every morning, he'd spend hours reading, watching, analyzing. By the time the market opened, his head was full of conflicting information. He'd second-guess every decision, constantly wondering if he was missing something important. He was missing something important. The fact that less information with clear execution beats more information with paralyzed execution every single time. So here's where we are. You now understand why trading feels impossible. Uncertainty, instant feedback, complexity addiction, outcome obsession, and information overload. These 5 forces make trading feel harder than any other profession. But here's the shift. The 5% who find it obvious aren't immune to these forces. They feel them too. The difference is they've stopped fighting them. Let me show you how. The shift. From impossible to obvious. The transformation isn't about learning more. It's about unlearning almost everything. Shift 1. Embrace uncertainty as your edge. Stop trying to predict. Start trying to react. The market will do what it does. Your job is...
Dave, I like that. Price is king. Christ is king, but price is close a second. Follow the king.
Isn't to know what's next. Your job is to execute your plan when your setup appears. The professionals don't say, this will go up. They say, this setup has a favorable probability based on my testing.
Shut up. This is literally the I'll watch Chris video. Hold on, go back.
Execute your plan when your setup appears.
Your job is to execute the plan when your setup appears.
Professionals don't say, this will go up.
The professionals don't say, this should go up. But the amateurs all over YouTube who make the videos talking about their favorite stock say exactly that. The SoFi should go to $75 a share. Palantir should go to $5,000 a share. My bullish case on Tesla is $612 per share. Professionals don't do that. Professional investors do not do that. We don't care what it should do. What your opinion is meaningless. All that matters is following the plan, because given enough trades, it'll hit your consistency, your edge with consistency.
They say, this setup has a favorable probability based on my testing. I'll take the bet knowing I might lose.
Dude, this is actually a brilliant video. This is actually a brilliant video. Oh, hang on. I need to switch accounts to do that. This is on my dummy account. Hold on. Where are we at? We're at 1256. Let me switch to my real account. It's my dummy account. Don't tell anybody. We're 1256.
95% of traders find trading impossible. They blow accounts. They quit. They call it rigged. They say the market is against them. They swear ability based on...
There we go. Okay. Let's add a nice comment here. This is a brilliant video. Everything you're talking about is exactly what it takes to be a professional investor. I don't want to make it about me. I want to make it about him. But I do want to say something like, this is what I talk about all the time. This is what I talk about all the time on my YouTube channel. Thank you for making this and making it a good comparison versus a normal losing investor. Okay, cool. There you go. Fund manager. That's right. Professional investing fund manager.
My testing. I'll take the bet knowing I might lose. That subtle language shift reveals a massive psychological shift, from prediction to probability, from certainty to acceptance. When you truly accept that you cannot and do not need to know what happens next, trading gets easier instantly.
Yeah. That's why 95% of traders find it impossible. Now, I had that conversation with Steve Burns. Well, how do I know if the stock's going to go up? I remember having that conversation with Steve Burns, and he's saying, you don't. What do you mean? You don't know if it's going to go up, but you can see if it's trending up, and you can ride the trend as long as it goes. What?
Because you stop wasting mental energy trying to control the uncontrollable. Shift 2. Measure process, not outcomes. Create a new definition of a successful trading day. Not, did I make money? But did I execute my plan? Keep a simple checklist. Did I wait for my setup? Did I size correctly? Did I manage the trade according to my rules? Did I exit where I planned? If you can answer yes to these questions, mark the day as successful, even if you lost money, because you controlled what was controllable. And if you keep doing that, the money takes care of itself.
That's what I said. Like literally my quotes.
This removes the emotional roller coaster. You're no longer at the mercy of random market fluctuations. You're grounded in process, which is stable, repeatable, and under your control. Shift 3. Simplify ruthlessly. Take everything on your charts right now and remove 90% of it. If that feels scary, that's proof you need to do it. One strategy. Mastered. Not 10 strategies dabbled. One time frame. One market, or a small handful at most. Simple entry rules, simple exit rules, simple risk management. Complexity is not sophistication, it's confusion with a fancy outfit. The most profitable traders I know have the simplest systems, not because they can't handle complexity, but because they've learned that simplicity is what you can actually execute under pressure. Shift 4. Practice strategic ignorance. Limit your information intake deliberately. You don't need to know everything. You need to know your setup and when it appears. Stop checking news during trading hours. Stop reading others' analysis. Stop consuming opinions. Your edge is in your system, not in reacting to everyone else's thoughts.
Yep. Okay. I don't think we need to go another 6 minutes of this because it's what I talk about all this thinking time. But I want you to be successful. I super want you to be successful. That's why we created Outlier University. That's why everything that we do is absolutely for free. That's why every single trade I've taken for years is not only on our Discord, but also on our YouTube. So you can see a professional investor at work. Now, in 2026, I'm going to be using Outlier and I'm going to be competing and I'm going to be dominating and fingers crossed winning the US Investing Championship. You get to follow along the entire way. I would encourage you to follow along the entire way. I'm not telling you to take the same trades that I take. But what I am telling you is that if you follow along and understand what we're doing here, you can have success in the markets just like I'm going to have. So if that helps you at all, be sure you save time, make money, and start winning with less risk by clicking one of these 2 videos.